All right, get ready to dive into something really fascinating today.
Oh, yeah.
We're tackling reality transurfing.
Okay.
It's a concept that might just kind of flip your whole world upside down.
Interesting.
We'll be exploring excerpts from Vadim Zeland's book.
Okay.
And let me tell you, this is not your typical self-help stuff.
Right.
Get ready to rethink just how much control you actually have over your reality.
Well, and that's what's really interesting about Zeland's work is that he throws out this whole idea that reality is this like fixed thing, right? This unchangeable thing.
Right.
And he says instead, we're active participants shaping our experiences with every thought and every intention. And he even goes so far as to say that we can tap into this space of infinite possibilities to create the reality we want.
Okay, I am so intrigued. So where do we even begin to unpack this?
Yeah.
What is this space of infinite possibilities all about?
Well, Zeland calls it the alternative space.
Okay.
And you can think of it kind of like a cosmic library that's filled with scripts for every possible event, every potential reality. He argues that our thoughts act like a magnet, drawing specific sectors of the space toward us and like materializing them into our lived experience.
Okay, so it's not just positive thinking like we hear about all the time.
Right.
It's about our thoughts actually influencing the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
That's a really powerful concept.
It is.
But how do we even begin to tap into this alternative space?
Well, that's where the energy game comes in.
Okay.
Zeland says we have two types of energy at play.
Okay.
We've got physiological energy. That's like the basic stuff from food and rest. And then there's this free energy.
Okay.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Free energy is this cosmic energy that flows through us.
Right.
It's the energy of intention that fuels our ability to shape reality.
So it's like we're all plugged into this universal energy source, and the strength of our connection depends on how well we manage our energy.
Exactly. And Zeland argues that the amount of importance that we place on things directly impacts our free energy levels.
Okay.
So the more we stress, the more we worry and obsess over things.
Right.
The more we drain this precious resource.
Wait, so he's saying relaxation isn't the key to stress relief?
Right.
It's about managing how much weight we give things.
That's the surprising twist.
Yeah.
Zeland actually even provides practical exercises to help us release tension and tap into that free energy. One technique is a simple body scan.
Okay.
You systematically focus on each part of your body
Right.
and consciously releasing any tension you find. It's like giving yourself an energetic tune-up.
I love that. So instead of like fighting stress,
Yeah.
we're learning to manage our energy more efficiently.
Right.
That feels a lot more empowering to me.
It is.
But how do other people fit into this whole energy equation?
Well, that brings us to another fascinating concept.
Okay.
Energy vampires.
Oh, I knew it.
You know those people who just seem to suck the life out of you?
Yes, absolutely.
Zeland breaks them down into three types: the whiner, the caretaker, and the provocateur.
Got it.
And each has their own way of draining our energy and throwing us off balance.
Oh, I definitely know a few of each type, for sure.
Right.
The constant complainers, the ones who always need rescuing.
Yeah.
And the ones who just love to push your buttons.
Uh-huh.
But if we're all connected to this universal energy source,
Right.
how can they drain our energy? Doesn't it just replenish?
Well, that's the thing. Our free energy is limited.
Okay.
And we need to protect it. But don't worry, Zeland has a solution for us.
Okay.
He describes this visualization technique
Okay.
where you imagine two energy currents flowing through your body,
Right.
creating a protective shield that prevents energy leaks.
Wow.
It's like building an energetic force field to keep those vampires at bay.
Okay, that's a visual I can get behind, building my own personal energy shield.
Right.
But how do we actually use this energy, this free-flowing intention to shape our reality? Is it just about, like, wishing really hard?
It's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Zeland distinguishes between inner intention, which is all about pushing and striving for what we want,
Right.
and outer intention, which is more about aligning with the flow of the universe.
So inner intention is like trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
While outer intention is more about going with the flow,
Okay.
trusting the current to take us where we need to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Zeland uses the analogy of riding a wave. Inner intention is like fighting against the current,
Yeah.
exhausting ourselves in the process.
Right.
Outer intention is about effortlessly gliding on the wave, trusting that the universe is guiding us towards our destination.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But how do we know we're tapping into outer intention
Yeah.
and not just getting swept away by random currents?
Well, Zeland offers a really thought-provoking example to kind of illustrate this.
Okay.
He talks about this successful businessman
Okay.
who realized that everyone was always trying to offer him something, but no one ever asked him what he needed.
Wow.
And this businessman understood that true success comes from aligning with a larger flow,
Yeah.
not just pursuing personal gain.
Wow, that's a powerful insight.
Yeah.
It's like we need to shift our focus outward, understand the needs of others,
Yeah.
become part of something bigger than ourselves.
Right.
But how does this translate to, like, our personal relationships?
That's where the concept of frailing comes in.
Frailing.
Yeah, think about it this way. Have you ever noticed how much you love being around pets?
Of course. Who doesn't love being around pets?
Right. They're always so happy to see us, showering us with unconditional love.
Totally.
They're constantly frailing us,
Yep.
radiating positive energy without demanding anything in return.
Right.
Zeland suggests that we can apply this principle to our human relationships as well.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what we want from others, we shift our attention to acknowledging their rightness, appreciating their strengths,
Right.
and just genuinely enjoying their company.
So it's about letting go of the need to be right,
Uh-huh.
to fix people,
Yeah.
or to mold them into what we want them to be.
Right.
It's about accepting them for who they are
Yeah.
and appreciating the positive energy they bring into our lives.
Absolutely. But what about when relationships get tough?
Right?
We all have those moments of doubt, those times when we feel insecure or inadequate.
Totally.
How does transurfing address those inevitable bumps in the road?
That's a great question, and something I think we all struggle with.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get caught up in our own imperfections and shortcomings.
it is.
Does Zeland offer any guidance on how to navigate those moments of self-doubt?
He absolutely does.
Okay.
Zeland argues that self-acceptance is key to unlocking our true potential. Instead of battling against our perceived flaws,
Right.
he suggests we embrace them as part of what makes us unique.
Okay.
He even applies this concept to something as stressful as job hunting.
Okay.
Instead of striving for perfection, walk into that interview with a sense of self-acceptance, allowing your authentic self to shine through.
That's such a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
So often we're told to mask our imperfections,
Yeah.
to present a flawless facade.
Right.
But Zeland is saying that our flaws are part of what makes us interesting,
Yeah.
relatable,
Uh-huh.
and ultimately successful.
Right.
But let's be honest, even with the best intentions, life throws curveballs.
Yes.
How does transurfing help us deal with those unexpected challenges?
That's where Zeland's coordination principle comes into play.
The coordination principle.
Yeah, he argues that fear, insecurity, and the need for control often sabotage our efforts to shape reality. Instead of resisting the unexpected,
Right.
he encourages us to embrace it,
Okay.
to see challenges as opportunities for growth and transformation.
So it's like we're learning to surf the waves of life,
Yes.
riding the ups and downs with grace and flexibility.
Exactly. And Zeland goes even further, suggesting that we can actually use our perception to transform seemingly negative events into positive ones.
Wow.
He describes this as choosing to see the situation differently, to find the hidden opportunity or the valuable lesson within the challenge.
So it's like we're hacking reality by choosing to see the situation in a new light.
Yeah,
That's a pretty radical concept.
it is.
But how do we actually put this into practice? Does Zeland give us any tools or techniques to help us shift our perspective?
He does. He shares a fascinating anecdote about students
Okay.
using humor and a technique called inversion to overcome the stress of exams.
Okay.
Instead of getting bogged down in worry.
Yeah.
They chose to laugh at the absurdity of the situation.
Right.
And to see the exam as a challenge to be conquered,
Okay.
not a threat to be feared. And by shifting their perspective,
Yeah.
they were able to tap into a sense of power and confidence that helped them succeed.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that mental and emotional agility to flip the script, to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than roadblocks to success.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
It is.
But hold on. Zeland also talks about moving forward to the past.
He does.
How is that even possible? Are we talking about time travel here?
Not exactly, but it's almost as mind-bending.
Okay.
Zeland challenges our linear perception of time,
Right.
suggesting that all possibilities exist simultaneously in the alternative space. He argues that we can actually access different timelines,
What?
including those that we perceive as being in the past,
Right.
through a mental technique called transaction.
Okay, now you're really blowing my mind. So transaction allows us to perceive subtle shifts in reality,
Uh-huh.
kind of like glitches in the Matrix.
Yeah.
And these glitches might actually be glimpses into alternate timelines.
That's exactly what Zeland suggests.
I'm having a serious deja vu moment right now.
Yeah, he believes that deja vu might actually be a sign that we're catching glimpses of parallel realities where different choices have been made.
This is definitely going to take some time to process.
It is a lot to take in.
But if we can access these alternate timelines, does that mean we can change the past? And if so, wouldn't that create all sorts of paradoxes?
Well, that's a question that has fascinated philosophers and physicists for centuries. But Zeland's approach is more about changing our relationship to the past than actually altering historical events.
Right.
He suggests that by consciously shifting our perspective on past experiences, we can actually change how they affect us in the present.
Wow, so it's not about erasing or rewriting history?
Right.
But about reframing it in a way that empowers us in the present.
Exactly.
That's a much more realistic and honestly a much more freeing concept.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot to think about.
It is.
But before we get too lost in the weeds, let's take a step back and address some of the practical concerns that people might have when encountering these ideas for the first time.
I think that's a good idea.
You know, just grappling with the implications of all of this.
Well, Zeland received tons of letters from readers who were struggling to apply the concepts of transurfing to their own lives.
I can imagine.
They were wrestling with issues like bad luck, the true meaning of charity, and the importance of finding their purpose in the world.
Those are definitely universal struggles. Did Zeland offer any guidance on how to navigate those challenges?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
His responses to those letters provide some really practical insights into how to use transurfing in everyday life.
Okay.
For instance, he had a reader who felt constantly plagued by bad luck.
Oh, no.
And Zeland's response, he suggested that their misfortune might actually be a reflection of their own negative perception.
Wow.
He encouraged the reader to shift their perspective and see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than punishments from the universe.
That's such a powerful reminder that our perception really does shape our reality. So it's not about blaming ourselves for bad luck, but about recognizing that we have the power to change our perception. And attract more positive experiences into our lives.
Exactly. What about the concept of charity? How does Zeland address that?
Well, Zeland's take on charity is pretty radical.
It is.
He challenges that conventional view of charity as simply giving money to those in need. He argues that true charity is about offering sincere help and support.
Without expecting anything in return. He emphasizes that the intention behind the act is far more important than the amount of money given.
So it's not about checking a box or easing our own guilt, but about genuinely wanting to make a positive difference in the world.
That's what he's saying.
That makes so much sense. But how do we find that genuine compassion when we're constantly bombarded with so much suffering and need?
Well, Zeland suggests that true compassion comes from a place of abundance, not scarcity. It's not about feeling guilty or obligated to help.
But about recognizing that we have more than enough to share. And choosing to extend that abundance to others.
So it's about shifting our mindset from I have to give to I get to give.
Exactly.
That's a much more empowering and joyful approach to charity.
It is.
Okay, but this brings us to another crucial aspect of transurfing. Finding your true goal. That deep inner desire that sets your soul on fire. Zeland argues that when we align our actions with our true goal, we tap into a source of unlimited energy and creativity.
That's powerful.
We become unstoppable.
Right.
That's a pretty inspiring message.
It is.
But how do we find that true goal when there are so many distractions and competing priorities pulling us in different directions? It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
It can feel that way.
How do we even begin?
Well, Zeland suggests that the key is to listen to the whispers of our souls.
To pay attention to those moments of joy, excitement, and inspiration that light us up from the inside out. It's about asking ourselves, what truly brings me alive? What makes me feel passionate and purposeful?
So it's not about chasing external validation or societal expectations. But about tuning into our own inner compass. And discovering what truly resonates with our hearts.
Exactly. And when we find that true goal, that thing that makes us come alive, the universe conspires to support us.
Wow.
Doors open,
Yeah.
Opportunities appear,
Okay.
and we find ourselves effortlessly gliding on the wave of fortune.
Wow, that's an incredible image.
It is.
It's like we're finally in sync with the rhythm of the universe, flowing effortlessly towards our destiny.
Right.
But that's a conversation for part 2.
Okay.
For now, let's take a moment to process all this mind-blowing information. I don't know about you,
Right.
but I'm already starting to see the world in a whole new light.
It's definitely a lot to take in, but that's the beauty of transurfing. It challenges us to expand our awareness,
Right.
question our assumptions, and embrace the infinite possibilities that lie within us and all around us.
And that, my friends, is just the beginning.
It is.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our Transurfing Deep Dive,
All right.
where we'll explore even more practical techniques for shaping reality and creating the life of your dreams.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to our Transurfing adventure. I'm still kind of buzzing from all the mind-blowing concepts we explored in part 1.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The alternative space, energy vampires. It's like we've stepped into a whole new dimension.
It really is a shift in perspective. And remember, we're just getting started.
Oh, no, it's so exciting.
In part 1, we talked about how Zeland received letters from readers
Right.
who were grappling with applying these ideas to their lives.
Right.
And there was one letter that really resonated with me.
Okay.
Where a reader describes this roller coaster of experiences. They would have these like amazing periods of happiness and success.
Right.
But then it felt like bad luck would inevitably follow.
Oh, I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
It's like you get a taste of the life you want,
Yeah.
and then, bam, something comes along to knock you off track.
Right.
Do you think that's really just bad luck? Or is there something deeper going on?
That's exactly what Zeland dives into.
Okay.
He suggests it might not be bad luck at all,
Okay.
but a reflection of our own internal state. He talks about how clinging too tightly to those moments of happiness
Right.
creates what he calls excess potential.
Okay.
And that can actually attract forces that disrupt our flow.
So it's like we're trying to hold on so tightly to the good stuff
Yeah.
that we end up pushing it away.
Right.
That's such a counterintuitive concept.
It is, but think about it this way.
Okay.
When you're super attached to a specific outcome,
Right.
you create a lot of tension and resistance.
Yeah.
And Zeland argues that this resistance creates a ripple effect in the alternative space,
Okay.
pulling us away from our desired reality.
So it's like we're creating our own bad luck by trying too hard to control everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Zeland suggests that the key to maintaining a positive flow
Okay.
is to embrace the natural ebb and flow of life.
Right.
He encourages us to let go of our attachment to specific outcomes
Yeah.
and trust that the universe has a plan for us,
Okay.
even when things get messy.
That's a tough one, especially in a world that's constantly telling us to hustle and strive for more.
Yeah, it is a challenge.
But I can see how surrendering to the journey
Right.
rather than obsessing over the destination could create a lot more peace and ease.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off.
Totally. And speaking of relationships,
Yeah.
Zeland has some really interesting insights
He does.
into how this idea of letting go of control
Right.
plays out in our interactions with others.
Yeah.
Oh, relationships.
Yeah.
That's a whole other layer of complexity.
It is.
What does Zeland have to say about navigating those often turbulent waters?
Well, he introduces this concept called the game of partner,
The game of partners.
which describes those dynamics
Okay.
where couples seem to constantly trigger each other's negative patterns.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're locked in this dance of frustration and resentment,
Right.
each person unknowingly playing a role in perpetuating the conflict.
Oh, I've definitely been in a few of those dances.
I think we all have at some point.
It's like you're both reacting to each other's baggage
Yeah.
instead of actually connecting on a deeper level.
Right.
How do we break free from those patterns?
Zeland suggests that it all starts with awareness.
Okay.
Instead of reacting unconsciously based on past conditioning, we need to wake up and become more conscious
Right.
of the roles we're playing in our relationships.
Okay.
He encourages us to step back from the emotional intensity and observe the situation with a sense of detachment.
So it's like we're watching a play
Yeah.
instead of getting caught up in the drama.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like a challenge,
It is.
especially when emotions are running high.
It can be tough.
Yeah.
But Zeland even suggests using humor to diffuse the tension. Imagine playing your role in the game of partners
Right.
with a sense of irony and detachment.
Okay.
Like you're an actor in a comedy.
I love that. Finding the humor in the situation,
Yeah.
even when it feels challenging, can be so transformative.
It can really shift the energy.
Yeah, it's like taking the power away from those negative patterns.
Right.
But relationships aren't all fun and games.
No, they're not.
What about when we need to step up and offer support to others?
Okay.
How does transurfing approach the concept of charity?
Well, Zeland's view on charity is pretty radical.
Okay.
He challenges the conventional idea of just giving money to those in need. Instead, he argues that true charity comes from a place of sincere help and support,
Right.
offered without any expectation of reward or recognition.
So it's not about checking a box
Right.
or easing our own guilt, but about genuinely wanting to make a positive difference in the world.
Exactly.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But Zeland believes that the intention behind the act
Yeah.
is what matters most.
Uh-huh. He even suggests that giving charity out of a sense of duty or obligation can perpetuate negative energy.
Wow.
True charity should come from a place of joy, a celebration of abundance, and a desire to share that abundance with others.
It's a beautiful perspective.
It is.
It's about recognizing that we all have something to offer.
Yeah.
And that giving should be an expression of our own generosity and abundance, not a burden or a sacrifice.
Right.
And that brings us to another fascinating question that Zeland tackles.
Okay. What's that?
Can we use transurfing to influence the lives of others, especially those we care about?
That's a good question.
It is a question I think many of us wrestle with.
Yeah.
We want to see our loved ones happy and successful.
Of course.
And it's natural to wonder if we can use these principles to help them on their journey. What does Zeland have to say about that?
Well, he cautions against trying to force our will on others.
Okay.
He emphasizes that the power of intention is most effective when it's aligned with the free will of those we're trying to influence.
Okay.
So instead of trying to control or manipulate them, he suggests we focus on creating an environment of support and encouragement, allowing them to make their own choices.
So it's about empowering them to find their own path.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to impose our own beliefs or expectations on them.
Exactly. Zeland argues that true change comes from within.
Right.
We can't force others to change their beliefs or behaviors, but we can offer a space where they feel safe to explore their own potential and make their own choices.
That's such a powerful reminder.
It is.
We can't control other people's lives.
Right.
But we can offer love, support, and encouragement as they navigate their own journeys. But what about our own journey?
Okay.
Can we really have it all? Success in our careers, fulfilling relationships, vibrant health, financial abundance.
It's the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
And Zeland challenges the limiting belief that we can't have it all.
Okay.
He argues that the only limitations we face are the ones we impose on ourselves.
So it's not about some external force holding us back, but about our own internal beliefs and expectations.
That's what he says. Zeland suggests that the idea that we can't have it all is a product of our conditioning, a belief system that's been ingrained in us from a young age. He encourages us to break free from these limitations, to expand our vision of what's possible, and to believe that we can achieve anything we set our minds to.
It's like we're breaking out of a mental prison.
It is.
And stepping into a world of infinite possibilities. But let's be real, the path to achieving those big dreams isn't always smooth sailing. How do we deal with the inevitable challenges and setbacks that pop up along the way?
Well, Zeland reminds us that challenges are an inherent part of the journey. And he offers some powerful tools for navigating those bumps in the road. One of those tools is the coordination principle, which we touched on earlier.
The idea of transforming seemingly negative events into positive ones by shifting our perspective.
Exactly. Zeland argues that our perception of reality plays a huge role in shaping our experiences. If we choose to see challenges as roadblocks, they become just that. But if we can find the hidden opportunity or the valuable lesson within the challenge, it becomes a stepping stone on our path to success.
It's about finding that silver lining in every cloud. That hidden blessing in every challenge.
Exactly.
But that's easier said than done.
It is.
Especially when we're in the thick of it.
It can be tough to see the good when you're struggling.
Does Zeland offer any practical tips for putting this principle into action?
He does. He suggests a technique called inversion.
Inversion?
Which is essentially about turning a negative situation on its head and choosing to see it from a completely different perspective. He even encourages us to embrace the unexpected, to see surprises as gifts from the universe, nudges in the right direction.
So it's about finding that sense of wonder and adventure
Yeah.
Even in the midst of chaos.
Exactly.
That's a pretty radical way to approach life's curveballs.
It is a shift in perspective.
It is. And Zeland even shares a personal anecdote
Oh, yeah.
about how he and his fellow physics students used humor and inversion to survive the intense demands of their program. They were facing incredibly challenging circumstances.
Yeah, physics is no joke.
Right. But by choosing to laugh at the absurdity of it all,
right,
and see the challenges as opportunities for growth, they were able to thrive.
They found a way to make it work.
Right. That's such an inspiring example.
It is.
It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, we can choose to find the humor, the lightness, the joy.
Right.
And in doing so, we activate the coordination principle.
Yeah.
And attract more positive experiences into our lives.
That's the idea.
And this ability to find humor in challenging situations is a key element of what Zeland calls gliding on the wave of fortune.
It is.
Gliding on the wave of fortune.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Tell me more.
Well, Zeland describes the wave of fortune as this cluster of lifelines that are particularly favorable to a specific individual. It's like tapping into a golden vein of positive experiences that flow effortlessly when we're aligned with our true selves and in sync with the universe.
So it's not just about luck, but about aligning ourselves with a frequency of positive energy and allowing those experiences to flow into our lives. Okay? And Zeland suggests that one of the keys to accessing this wave of fortune is to achieve unity of heart and mind.
Unity of heart and mind.
Yeah. What does that look like in practice?
Well, Zeland argues that when our thoughts and feelings are in alignment, when our minds and hearts are working together in harmony, we become a powerful force for manifestation. It's about tapping into that deep inner knowing, that intuitive sense of what's right for us.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. But about feeling those thoughts in our hearts as well.
Exactly.
When we achieve this state of unity, we become like a magnet for positive experiences.
Yeah.
We attract the people, the resources, the opportunities that support our goals and dreams.
That's the idea.
It's like we're broadcasting a frequency of success and abundance that resonates throughout the universe.
I like that.
But how do we know when we're on the right track? When we're truly aligned with our true selves?
Zeland suggests that the universe will provide us with signs along the way. He calls these guiding signs.
Guiding signs.
And they can take many forms: a chance encounter with someone who offers valuable insight. A sudden inspiration. A book that falls off the shelf at just the right moment.
So it's about paying attention to those synchronicities, those subtle nudges from the universe that are guiding us in the right direction.
Exactly. Zeland encourages us to become more attuned to our intuition, to trust our gut feelings, and to be open to the unexpected. When we're in a state of flow, the universe will conspire to support us, even if that path takes us in directions we never anticipated.
It's about surrendering to the mystery. And trusting that we're exactly where we're supposed to be. But we can't talk about transurfing without addressing the concept of pendulums. Those energy structures that Zeland says can exert a powerful influence on our choices.
The pendulums are a crucial part of the transurfing model. Remember, Zeland uses this term to describe the energy structures that are created when groups of people share similar thoughts and beliefs. And these pendulums can be anything from social movements to cultural norms to even family dynamics.
So it's like we're all caught in these energetic webs that are influencing our behavior, often without us even realizing it.
Exactly.
That's a little scary.
Well, Zeland argues that these pendulums can pull us away from our true path, leading us towards goals and desires that don't truly serve us.
So it's like we're being unconsciously programmed to follow a script that someone else has written.
That's one way to look at it.
How do we break free from that programming?
Well, Zeland suggests that the key is to become aware of their presence. And to consciously choose to disengage from their energy. It's about questioning our beliefs and behaviors. Examining our motivations, and making choices that align with our own inner compass, not the dictates of external forces.
It's about reclaiming our personal power. And choosing to create a reality that reflects our own unique values and aspirations.
Exactly. But how do we actually do that? How do we resist the pull of those pendulums when they're so deeply embedded in our culture and our subconscious? Well, Zeland offers a powerful technique for breaking free from the influence of pendulums.
Okay, what's that?
Reducing importance.
Reducing importance.
We talked about this in the context of relationships
Right.
and letting go of the need to control outcomes.
Right.
But how does it apply to pendulums? Well, Zeland argues that when we attach excessive importance to things, we give them power over us.
Okay.
We become emotionally invested in specific outcomes,
Right.
which then creates resistance and attracts negative experiences.
So it's about finding that sense of detachment, that inner peace that allows us to navigate the ups and downs of life without getting swept away by the drama.
Precisely.
Okay. When we reduce importance,
Yeah.
we release the energetic grip that these pendulums have on us. We become less reactive,
Yeah.
more adaptable,
Right.
and more open to the flow of life.
Exactly.
It's about surrendering to the mystery
Yeah.
and trusting that the universe has a plan for us, even when we can't see the bigger picture.
Right. And Zeland emphasizes
Okay.
that reducing importance doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent.
Right.
It's about choosing to respond to challenges with grace and equanimity,
Okay.
rather than getting caught up in the emotional whirlwind.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where we're both engaged in the game of life
Right.
and detached from the outcome.
Uh-huh.
That's a powerful balance to strike.
It is a delicate dance.
It is. But we can't leave this conversation
Yeah.
without revisiting one of the most mind-bending concepts
Okay.
we've encountered so far.
What's that?
The idea of moving forward to the past.
Oh, yeah, that one.
That's definitely one of the most challenging,
right.
but also the most liberating aspects of transurfing.
I agree.
Remember, Zeland suggests
Yeah.
that our perception of time as linear is an illusion.
It's a human construct.
Right. He argues that all possibilities exist simultaneously in the alternative space. And that we have the ability to access different timelines,
Right.
including those that we perceive as being in the past.
Yeah.
It's like we're stepping into alternate realities
It is.
where different choices have been made.
Exactly.
But if that's true, can we actually change the past?
Okay.
And wouldn't that create all sorts of paradoxes?
Well, Zeland's approach isn't about literally changing historical events,
Okay.
but about shifting our relationship to the past. He argues that we can use our awareness and intention to influence how we perceive and experience those past events.
Right.
It's about reframing them in a way that empowers us in the present moment.
So it's not about erasing or rewriting history,
Right.
but about choosing to focus on the positive aspects of our past and releasing the negative energy that we might be carrying around.
Exactly.
It's about rewriting the narrative in a way that serves us.
I like that.
And Zeland offers a specific technique for accessing these alternate timelines.
What's that?
Transaction.
Right. Transaction.
Can you refresh our memory
Yeah.
on how it works?
Well, Zeland describes transaction as a mental technique
Right.
that allows us to perceive subtle shifts in reality. It's about becoming more attuned to the synchronicities,
Okay.
the unexpected events,
Right.
and the subtle cues that suggest we're moving between different timelines.
So it's about paying attention to those moments when reality seems to glitch. Those strange coincidences that make us wonder if we're in the right dimension.
Precisely.
Okay. And Zeland suggests that we can use transaction to intentionally access timelines.
Right.
Where we've made choices that align with our current desires.
It's like we're consciously choosing to align ourselves with a reality
Right.
that supports our highest good.
Right. Even if that reality seems to exist in the past.
Exactly.
That's a pretty empowering concept.
It is, but with great power comes great responsibility.
So true. What are some of the potential pitfalls we need to be mindful of as we explore these ideas?
That's a great question. One of the most important things Zeland emphasizes is the importance of using our newfound power for good.
Right.
He cautions against using transurfing for selfish or harmful purposes.
Right.
He argues that when we align ourselves with negative energy, we ultimately attract negative experiences into our lives.
So it's like we're creating our own karma,
Yeah.
even if our actions don't have immediate consequences.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Zeland suggests that the universe operates on a principle of balance.
Okay.
When we put out negative energy,
Right.
we inevitably receive negative energy in return.
It's like throwing a boomerang.
Ultimately comes back to hit us.
Precisely. And Zeland also cautions against becoming overly attached
Right.
to the idea of control.
Okay.
He reminds us that while we have the power to influence reality, we're not ultimately in control of everything.
So it's about finding that balance between taking responsibility for our choices and surrendering to the mystery of life.
That's what it's all about.
That's a pretty profound message.
It is. And finally, Zeland emphasizes the importance of gratitude.
Right.
He argues that when we focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our energy and attract more abundance into our lives.
It's like we're sending a message to the universe that we're open to receiving all the good things it has to offer.
Exactly. And Zeland suggests that gratitude is not just about feeling thankful for the good things that have happened in our lives.
Right.
It's also about appreciating the challenges, the setbacks, the lessons that have shaped us into who we are today.
It's about finding the beauty in the imperfections.
Yeah.
The growth in the struggles, the wisdom in the mistakes.
Precisely. And Zeland argues that when we can cultivate a spirit of gratitude, we open ourselves up to a world of abundance, joy, and fulfillment.
It's like we're creating a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Where the more grateful we are, the more we have to be grateful for.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of part 2.
Wow. What an incredible journey.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the final part of our Transurfing Odyssey. I am so ready to put all this incredible knowledge into practice.
Oh, yeah.
And start surfing those waves of reality.
I hear you.
But where do we even begin?
Okay.
Zeland talks about this idea of goals and doors, hinting that each of us has a unique path that leads to true happiness.
Right.
But how do we find that path? It can feel a bit like navigating a cosmic maze.
Well, it's a common feeling.
Right.
Especially when we're bombarded with so many external expectations and societal pressures.
Yeah.
But transurfing offers a powerful compass to kind of navigate that maze.
Okay.
Zeland emphasizes that true goals aren't imposed from the outside. They emerge from deep within us, from the whispers of our souls.
So it's about tuning into that inner voice, that gut feeling that tells us what truly lights us up.
Yeah.
What makes us feel alive.
Right. But sometimes that voice is drowned out by all the noise of the world.
Exactly. How do we silence those external distractions and really hear our own inner guidance?
Well, Zeland offers a technique called sliding.
Oh, sliding.
Which involves consciously choosing to focus our attention on the reality we desire.
Right.
Even if it hasn't materialized yet.
Okay.
We create a vivid mental image. A target slide of ourselves already living that reality, experiencing the joy, the success, the fulfillment that we crave.
So it's like we're creating a mental movie of our ideal life and playing it on repeat in our minds.
Exactly.
Okay. And by repeatedly focusing on this target slide, we're essentially sending a powerful message to the universe, aligning our energy with the frequency of our desired reality.
That's the idea.
I love it. It's like we're setting our internal GPS to guide us towards our dreams.
Right. But what about those inevitable obstacles that pop up along the way?
Right. Life rarely goes exactly according to plan.
Well, absolutely. And that's where Zeland's concept of pendulums comes into play again.
Oh, the pendulums.
Remember those energy structures created by collective thought patterns?
Right. Yeah.
Well, they can often try to derail us from our true path.
Okay.
Pulling us towards goals and desires that don't actually serve our highest good.
So those pendulums are like energy vampires disguised as shiny distractions.
Yeah.
Tempting us with goals that might look appealing on the surface.
Right.
But ultimately leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled.
That's a great way to put it.
How do we recognize their influence and break free from their grip?
Well, Zeland suggests that one of the most effective ways to kind of neutralize the influence of pendulums is to reduce importance.
Okay, reducing importance.
We talked about this in the context of relationships.
Right.
Letting go of the need to control outcomes.
Right. How does it apply to pendulums?
Well, Zeland argues that when we attach excessive importance to things, we give them power over us. We become emotionally invested in specific outcomes.
Right.
Which then creates resistance and attracts more of what we don't want.
So it's about finding that sense of detachment, that inner peace that allows us to navigate the ups and downs of life.
Right.
Without getting swept away by the drama.
Exactly.
Okay.
Zeland even calls one of his techniques letting go of the steering wheel.
Letting go of the steering wheel.
Encouraging us to stop trying to force things to happen.
Right.
And to trust that the universe will guide us in the right direction.
That sounds terrifying and liberating all at the same time.
It can be both.
Yeah. But how do we know
Yeah.
when to let go of the steering wheel
Right.
and when to take action?
That's where intuition comes into play.
Okay.
Zeland encourages us to listen to our gut feelings,
Right.
to pay attention to the subtle signs and synchronicities that the universe is sending us.
Right.
He suggests that when we're aligned with our true path,
Okay.
the right actions will flow effortlessly, almost as if we're being guided by an invisible hand.
It's about finding that delicate balance between effort and surrender, action and allowing.
Right.
It's about trusting that inner wisdom that knows the way.
Exactly. And remember the principle of coordination we talked about.
Right.
Choosing to see challenges as opportunities.
Right.
Well, that applies here as well.
Okay.
When things don't go according to plan,
Right.
instead of seeing it as a failure, we can choose to see it as a redirection,
Okay.
a course correction from the universe.
So it's about finding that silver lining,
Yeah.
that hidden blessing in every challenge, even when it feels like the world is falling apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Zeland argues that our perception of reality plays a huge role in shaping our experiences.
Right.
If we choose to see challenges as roadblocks,
Yeah.
they will become just that.
Okay.
But if we can find the opportunity for growth and learning within the challenge, it becomes a stepping stone on our path.
It's like we're given a choice to get stuck in the mud
Yeah.
or to use the obstacle as leverage to propel ourselves forward.
That's a great analogy.
And remember, gratitude
Oh, yeah.
plays a key role in shifting our perspective and attracting more of what we desire.
Absolutely.
When we focus on what we're grateful for,
Right.
we raise our vibration and align ourselves with a frequency of abundance and joy.
That's what it's all about.
It's like we're sending a signal to the universe
Uh-huh.
that we're open to receiving all the good things it has to offer.
Right. And that opens up even more possibilities.
It does.
Absolutely.
Gratitude is like a magnet for abundance.
It is.
And it's not just about being thankful
Right.
for the good things that have happened in our lives.
Yeah.
It's also about appreciating the challenges, the setbacks, even the perceived failures.
Right.
So it's about finding that deeper appreciation for the whole journey, the ups and the downs, the twists and turns
Yeah.
that have shaped us into who we are today.
Precisely.
Okay. And now let's revisit one of the most mind-bending concepts
Oh, yeah.
we've encountered in our transurfing exploration.
Oh.
The idea of moving forward to the past.
That's a tough one.
I'm still wrapping my head around this.
It is a lot to take in.
It challenges everything we think we know about time and reality.
It does.
Can you remind us how this is even possible?
Well, remember, Zeland suggests that our perception of time as linear is an illusion.
Okay.
He argues that all possibilities exist simultaneously in the alternative space, and that we have the ability to access different timelines,
Right.
including those that we perceive as being in the past.
So it's like we're stepping into alternate realities
It is.
where different choices have been made.
Exactly. But if we can access these alternate timelines,
Yeah.
does that mean we can change the past?
That's the question.
Well, Zeland's approach is more about changing our relationship to the past than about literally altering historical events.
Okay.
He suggests that we can use our awareness and intention
Right.
to shift our perspective on past experiences, to reframe them in a way that empowers us in the present moment.
So it's not about erasing or rewriting history,
Right.
but about choosing to focus on the positive aspects of our past and releasing the negative energy that we might be holding on to.
Right.
It's about rewriting the narrative in a way that serves us.
I like that.
And Zeland provides a specific technique
Okay.
for accessing these alternate timelines called transaction.
Gotcha.
Can you refresh our memory on how transaction works?
Well, it's about becoming aware of the subtle shifts in reality,
Right.
the synchronicities, those moments when things don't quite add up.
Right.
It's those glitches in the matrix
Yes.
that suggest we're moving between different timelines.
So it's like paying attention to those moments of deja vu,
Yeah,
those weird coincidences that make us question if we're in the right dimension.
exactly.
And Zeland suggests that we can use transaction to intentionally access timelines
Right.
where we've made choices that align with our current desires and goals.
It's like we're consciously choosing to align ourselves with a reality
Right.
that supports our highest good.
Right. Even if that reality seems to exist in the past.
Exactly.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into transurfing.
It does.
Wow, what an incredible journey.
It's been an amazing exploration.
We've explored some truly mind-blowing concepts.
We have.
That challenge everything we thought we knew about reality.
Yeah.
And our role in shaping it.
Absolutely. Transurfing is not a magic bullet.
Right.
It's a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Empowerment.
Totally. It takes effort, intention, and a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone.
You have to be willing to challenge your beliefs.
Right. But the rewards are well worth the effort.
They are.
When we align ourselves with the principles of transurfing, we open ourselves up to a world of infinite possibilities.
Right.
We become co-creators of our own reality, shaping our lives with intention, awareness, and a whole lot of gratitude.
And don't forget the humor.
Oh, the humor, yeah.
Life is a grand adventure.
It is.
And transurfing gives us the tools to navigate that adventure with more grace, ease, and joy.
That's a beautiful way to wrap up our transurfing deep dive.
It has been an honor.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure.
I know our listeners are ready to start surfing those waves of reality.
Yeah.
And creating the lives of their dreams.
Go out there and make it happen.
Until next time, keep those intentions flowing and those reality shaping.
I love it.